Ever feel like the closer you get to your partner, the more they pull away? If you love someone who's afraid of intimacy, then your instincts to connect could be making things worse and causing you a whole lot of heartbreak. But this dynamic isn't necessarily doomed. I'm a clinical psychologist with more than 15 years experience helping people build healthy relationships after toxic ones. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to respond to an avoidant partner in a way that invites them to come close, but without losing yourself in the process. But first, I have a confession to make. I don't like a lot of content on the internet that's aimed at people in relationships with avoidant partners. Too much of it encourages you to treat love like a game and tells you to pull back, to withdraw, to make your avoidant partner anxious and fearful that they're going to lose you so that they come running back to you. And does it work? Well, yes, it works if your only goal is to get them to come running back to you. But that doesn't build trust. It doesn't build security. It just builds anxiety and instability. It turns your relationship into a roller coaster of push, pull, withdraw, breakup, makeup dynamics. That's the exact opposite of a secure relationship. This video is not that. I'm not going to encourage you to play games, to pull back, to withdraw, or perform emotional self-erasure just to win someone's love and affection for you. That's not my style, and it shouldn't be yours either. Instead, this video is going to help you understand what's really going on underneath the surface, why people with an avoidant attachment style tend to retreat when things get too close or too intimate, what that stirs up in you, and how your reaction can make things worse, and how to interrupt that cycle with kind, calm, grounded responses that invite real connection and maintain your dignity in the process. So let's begin by understanding avoidant partners. Someone with an avoidant attachment style has come to see relationships as suffocating or enmeshing. They're like someone whose experience of swimming with others is that other people drag them underwater. So they prefer to swim alone, or at the very least, keep a safe distance from other swimmers. At their best, someone with an avoidant attachment style can be independent, autonomous, and adventurous. But at their worst, they can be cold, defensive, moody, and distant, causing a great deal of pain for those close to them. So let's look at what's really going on underneath the surface for an avoidant partner. They may not say much. They may seem calm, competent, and emotionally unbothered. But underneath that exterior, there's often a storm of beliefs that they've carried since childhood, shaping how they move through relationships today. Let's take a look at what their emotional blueprint might be. Now, these can vary from person to person, so don't take any of this as this is exactly what is going on for the avoidant person in your life. But these are some of the common experiences that I've come across often in working with people with an avoidant attachment style. Their emotional blueprint might include a strong sense of emotional deprivation. Inside, they may be telling themselves, no one has ever been there to meet my emotional needs. I need to take care of myself. I shouldn't expect other people to take care of me. It just won't happen. Now, this may not be a conscious thought as much as a felt truth, a conviction, as something that they take for granted. Another part of their blueprint may be an expectation of mistrust, abuse, or being taken advantage of. Inside, they may be telling themselves, if I let someone in, I'll be judged, I'll be controlled, they'll take advantage of me, they'll hurt me or abuse me in some way. So even a kind person who starts to get close can be experienced as a threat. Another common experience is a deep sense of shame or defectiveness. Inside, they could be telling themselves, if someone really saw me, if they understood my mess, my needs, my emotions, my thoughts, they would reject me. So they build a persona of someone who's calm, unbothered, independent, not needy, not demanding. And they keep the tender parts locked away. Another common experience is a fear of being engulfed or enmeshed or suffocated by other people. This might be a deep feeling of if I let someone get too close, I will lose myself. So they keep their distance and emphasize independence, not because they don't care about other people, but because other people getting close feels suffocating, overwhelming, and like they're drowning and losing themselves. Now imagine what happens when someone with these relationship experiences and expectations meets a partner with very ordinary human needs. Someone who says, I want to get close. I want to get to know you. I want to connect to you. I miss you when you're not around. When you go quiet and you withdraw, I feel quite anxious. Someone who says, I'm upset and I'm sad and I'd appreciate your comfort and your emotional support. All of these are beautiful, vulnerable, human invitations to connection and intimacy. But for someone with an avoidant attachment style, they're filtered through the lens of their relationship blueprint. And so they sound very, very different. Their sense of emotional deprivation says people always just want to take and no one is ever truly there for you. In the end, you're on your own. They've learned that emotional closeness is one-sided. They expect to be taken from, but not given to. Cue withdrawal, because emotional closeness feels like a setup for emotional exhaustion and disappointment. Their deep mistrust in other people says this is a setup. If I start giving, they'll want more, or they'll take advantage of me in some way. Cue detachment and withholding in order to protect themselves. Their sense of shame says, I'm going to mess this up. I'm too much or not enough for real love. And if someone could see me, if they understood how overwhelmed I really am, they would walk away. Cue defensiveness, silence, and emotional shutdown. All ways to hide the parts that they fear will be rejected. Their fear of enmeshment or suffocation says, if I get too close, their needs will consume me. I'll lose my space, my peace, my independence, my sense of self. Closeness feels like suffocation rather than connection. Cue withdrawal, physical distancing, pulling back just enough to maintain a sense of control. The tragedy is that all you need is warmth, connection, to be seen, to be supported by your partner in a mutual relationship. But they don't see it that way, not at first. They see a wave coming at them and they brace, they seek shelter, they batten down the hatches and they wait for that emotional demand to dissipate. Their actions are designed to keep them safe. But what they do is keep you at a very painful and very lonely distance. And it may not be a lack of love, but more that love has never felt safe. Even when all you're doing is inviting them to get close, they hear demand, danger, or a test that they're destined to fail. And unless these core relationship blueprints are understood and softened, the cycle will repeat. You reach, they retreat. You speak, they shut down. You hurt, they act like nothing's wrong. And you, in turn, will interpret their reactions through the lens of your emotional blueprint. And that's why it's very important to ask yourself, what does your partner's actions stir up in you? Perhaps you have a fear of abandonment that says people always leave. So even small moments of disconnection can trigger intense panic, especially when the relationship doesn't feel that secure to begin with. Cue pursuit, desperately reaching out to them because losing them feels so unbearable. Or maybe you're someone who's learned to suppress your needs for the sake of other people. You've learned not to ask for too much because you'll only be disappointed, or worse, you'll be criticized, or people will get angry. And so you quiet your needs, walk on eggshells, and hope that eventually they'll come closer on their own. Cue self-sacrificing, feeling invisible, unloved, and quietly resentful. Or maybe you too have a deep sense of emotional deprivation, a belief that nobody ever fully, truly shows up for you, and that in the end, you'll be on your own. Cue giving emotionally in the hope that one day they might match your effort. And the result is exhaustion, confusion, and a deep sense of emptiness and longing. Or maybe you too carry a deep sense of shame, and you tell yourself, maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm the problem. And their distance just feels like confirmation that you're unworthy of love. Cue shame spirals, over-explaining, or working really hard in an attempt to make yourself easier to love. When your blueprint meets theirs, you can get into a very toxic loop. The more you reach, the more they retreat. The more they retreat, the more you reach. Or you minimize your own needs and bend over backwards trying to meet theirs, leading to a deep sense of inner loneliness and exhaustion. Or you start reacting out of fear, begging to have your needs met, but not in a way that's truly caring and compassionate towards you. And if you do that for long enough, you're going to end up feeling hopeless, believing your needs will never be met. Not in this relationship, maybe not in any relationship. And that's when things can start to get even worse. So let's talk about what that might actually look like in your relationship. It could look like pushing for emotional connection in the middle of an emotional shutdown. That can sound something like, just talk to me. Why so quiet? I don't understand what I did wrong. I just want to connect with you. What's wrong with you? Now, this can come from a place of care, a desire to connect, and a deep longing to get close to this person and resolve whatever conflict is happening. But it often lands as pressure or a demand or an emotional intrusion for an avoidant partner. And the chances are they're going to emotionally shut down even further, reinforcing the very fear that you were trying to soothe and leaving you feeling even more abandoned and alone. Now, this is a very painful and frustrating place to be. And it's not unusual for those requests to connect to start sounding very critical. You never talk to me. You're so emotionally unavailable. You have an avoidant attachment style. Why do I always have to be the one who comes to you? Why am I always the one who cares more? You don't care about me at all. You have no emotional skills whatsoever. This doesn't usually come from a place of cruelty. It's pain dressed up as an attack, a last-ditch effort to wake the avoidant partner up so they pay attention and save the relationship. But to an avoidant partner, criticism reinforces their worst fear and their deep sense of shame. You see, I'm not enough. I'm failing. I can't do it. I'm not good at relationships. I only end up hurting people. I should keep my distance so people don't get hurt. And so they retreat even further and the situation gets worse. Another possibility is that you start over-explaining. You try to make sense of the situation and to share your insights with your partner. And you may be right. You may actually have a really good grasp of the situation. And you might even be coming from a place of compassion and care. But to the avoidant partner, it just feels like more demand, more overwhelm when they're already shutting down. And to you, that's going to feel like they don't care and they're not willing to listen to you. Over time, this is corrosive and it can leave you feeling utterly helpless. And when that happens, you too might find yourself shutting down. You stop asking for things. You stop fighting for the relationship. And the loneliness that you experience in that relationship is likely to feel unbearable. It's important to understand the dynamics of these relationships. And the good news is that when one person changes, it inevitably affects the other person in the system. So how can you break this cycle? Where do you begin? Start by understanding your reaction. When your partner withdraws, it's easy, so easy, to go to that place inside that says, they don't care, they're abandoning me, this always happens, I ask for connection, all I get is rejection, I always have to be the one to do all the emotional labor in the relationship. But here's the truth that changes everything. Your partner may not be abandoning you. Their shutdown and withdrawal may not be signs of a lack of love, but rather signs of being flooded, overwhelmed, and not knowing what to do. So they do the only thing they know to keep themselves safe, and that's to keep a distance. This doesn't mean that your pain isn't real. It is. But the story you tell yourself about their distance and their withdrawal is really important. Because if you tell yourself that they don't care, you'll likely respond with protest, pushing, or criticizing. all things that are likely to make them withdraw even more. But if you can remind yourself that this withdrawal may be their sense of self-protection rather than their rejection of you, you have much more space to choose your next move wisely. And you can start by tending to your own needs with real care and tenderness. This doesn't mean that you're giving up on connection. It just means you're reconnecting with yourself first. It's stopping yourself from pursuing connection with a sense of anxiety and desperation, and it's giving yourself the care and the attention that you need. You can start to recognize the pain that you're in, name your emotions, talk to yourself with the care and kindness you wish you could receive from someone else. You might be saying to yourself, of course I'm anxious. I love someone who's distant from me. I want to connect. I feel lonely. I feel anxious. I feel overwhelmed. It means you give yourself the things that you long for from someone else: attention, tenderness, steadiness. And you give it to yourself before asking your partner or anyone else to meet you there. And let's talk in very practical terms what that might actually look like, especially in moments of high emotion and conflict in a relationship. It might look like taking a walk to calm your nervous system before you respond in the heat of an argument. It might be putting your hand on your heart and acknowledging, I feel really hurt and I matter right now, even when my partner isn't acknowledging me. You might try journaling and writing down what you're feeling rather than sending another message. Maybe you choose not to explain yourself one more time because you already know you made your feelings and your intentions clear. Or maybe you reach out to a friend, someone you know can be with you right now, rather than pushing a connection with someone who can't. Most of all, it means you remember who you are, even when they've gone quiet. You don't abandon yourself to avoid being abandoned. You don't twist yourself into something smaller in order to keep the peace. And you don't protest in ways that escalate conflict and the end leave you feeling humiliated and ashamed. You stay present, you stay kind, and you stay true to yourself. What might your next move be? And that depends, because there is no one right move. There's no magic psychological trick that can get an avoidant partner to open up. There's only the next honest move that you can make for yourself. The key is to choose your moment. Wait until your nervous system has calmed down a little bit, until your thoughts have settled, until the part of you that's wise, calm, and anchored and respectful of you and of your partner, until that part of you can take the lead. And with this version of you in charge, you might reach out gently, without pressure. You say something like, I know you sometimes need your space, but I also really want to talk to you about this. So let's make a time to talk about it later. That's not chasing, it's clarity. It respects your avoidant partner's need for space, but it also insists that you're going to talk about the things that are important to you. And it invites your avoidant partner to feel safe enough to come out of hiding and connect with you. You might give them space, but with a sense of warmth and ongoing connection. You say, take the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready. This isn't the same as advice to go cold and withdraw and wait for them to come for you. It's not protest, it's confidence. It's saying, I can wait. I'm secure enough in myself that I can tolerate when you need some time on your own. And that creates the kind of environment that invites your avoidant partner to come out of hiding, not because they fear losing you, but because they start to feel safe with you. Now, this doesn't mean that you should roll over and accommodate your avoidant partner's every wish whilst having no needs of your own. Far from it. It's very important that you're able to express your needs to your avoidant partner in a way that they can hear them. This might mean picking your moment, so not in the heat of an argument, letting the dust settle and coming back to your avoidant partner in a way that expresses your needs with a lot of care and that emphasizes your intention and makes it an invitation rather than a demand. So you might say, I want to build something real with you. I love our relationship. I enjoy connecting with you. I respect your need for space, but I also need emotional consistency in order to feel safe too. Let's talk about what that might look like for me, because I think you can do it. This sort of boundary and request is an invitation rather than a demand, and how your partner responds to it is going to tell you everything that you need to know, whether that's good news or not so good news about the future of your relationship. Another helpful strategy here is to create space for emotional connection that's less intense, but just as real. Avoidant partners often find intense, face-to-face, emotional conversations overwhelming. But that's not the only way to build emotional intimacy. You can walk side by side, engage in activities together, cook together, take walks together, pursue things together, share activities that you both enjoy. This isn't giving up an intimacy or closeness. It's making space for it to happen in a different way, in a way that feels safer to your avoidant partner, and valuing it when it does. Or your next move might be to wait, not from fear, not from silence, not to punish them, not to get them to come running to you, but because you wisely recognize now is not the moment. Let the dust settle before I do anything else. And sometimes the next move may need to be the hardest move of all, walking away. Not in protest, not to prove a point, but because you've come to love and care about yourself, to choose you. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It means you care enough about yourself and you know your worth too well to stay around and negotiate for scraps of connection. When you walk away like this, it isn't a protest. It isn't a tactic to try to pull them back. It's a decision that you make for your own sake, for your own sanity, for your own dignity, for the part of you that knows that this isn't what love is supposed to feel like. You don't have to slam the door. You don't have to point the finger of blame at them or at you. You just quietly and calmly choose yourself. And if they do return and ask to be let back in, it isn't a time for relief or immediate reconnection. It's time to connect with your own heart, your compassion for yourself, and ask yourself, would getting back into this relationship really be in my best interests? Now, these issues exist on a spectrum. How severe they are, how intense they are, how they manifest can vary greatly between different people in different relationships. There are no hard and fast rules. I can't give cookie-cutter advice, and you should be skeptical about anyone who thinks they can. But hopefully you'll find something in this video that can help you make your relationships better. And I also know that these patterns can change if both partners are willing. And yes, I appreciate that that's a big if. This video, like most videos on this topic, focuses on how to help an avoidant partner to open up. But here's the thing, especially if you are someone who has an avoidant attachment style, it is very possible for you too to act in ways that soothe and calm your more anxiously attached partner, helping them feel safe and secure and more likely to give you the space that you need. And if that's something that you would like to give to your partner, or it's something that would help you better understand what you might need from a relationship as someone with an anxious attachment style, check out this video right here.